Hi everybody, this is Godo. I would like to welcome you all to my stream. So I'm gonna share my screen for all of you to see. Here I go. I am currently opening the Unity project, and we're gonna be continuing what we started on the stream of the which was last Friday. I'm gonna take the time to remind you all that tomorrow there is a stream of the week as well. We're also gonna be continuing on this project. I think the stream of the week after that, so next week that would be, I'm probably going to try to do something a little different. I eventually, if it's not next week, it's probably going to be the one after that. But soon there's going to be one stream of the week that will not be dedicated to that specific project. But I don't know when exactly. I will tell you in advance. You will see. I'm always making a poster a couple days ahead for the stream of the week. So eventually you'll see it's going to be a different stream. Okay. So last time we worked on stuff in Unity, which I'm going to show to you right now. So this is the result. Yeah, I still have one error, which is a cloud project ID error. I had that the whole stream last time, but it really doesn't affect anything as far as I can tell. So for this specific stream, I think we're just gonna have to endure this error, just like last time, because yeah, when I click it, it just opens a random like page of something analytics server instance, which is like a dependency or something. It probably checks for something and then returns an error. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. I probably will try to fix it before tomorrow's stream of the week. But for now, yeah, we're just gonna enter it. So what we've got here, I am now realizing is problematic because, so it works, but okay, last time when I coded that, the little pinkish square, I guess, it was on top, I think, right, of the nodes, right, the green circles. So this is supposed to be a map. I mean, it's a prototype, so it might not be super obvious. This is a map, and the pink square, which is supposed to be on top of the green node, which we're gonna fix first thing. Yeah, it's actually representing the character, so you can see it moving through the paths, right, and just going through the map. And there's checks being made so that I make sure that, for example, if I click ahead, it's gonna advance, right? But if I click behind, it's not gonna go. And if I go to, let's say, the left, I click, it goes. But if I go to the right of it on the different path and I click, it doesn't go. So there is some internal check to see where it can go, and then it moves the character there. So this is not a stream of the week, so I don't want to start anything new, but I do want to improve what we've got. So the first thing is going to be the character, like, well, you know, what represents the character. Why is it behind the node? I'm pretty sure that I know why, but I'm gonna have to find a way to fix it. So the reason that I think it's happening like that is probably because of what is called like Z fighting. It's when, well, in a 2D game, which is essentially what we've got right now, when you've got two elements that have the same depth, it's kind of difficult to reliably know which one should be on top, like visually, right? Which one should be shown if they're in the same spot, right? In terms of depth. So what I'm going to be doing is making sure that the pink square actually is closer to the camera. So this way, even if, you know, it's 2D, quote unquote, there's still a depth, and it's going to show above the node and, you know, the rest of the map. So this is what I'm going to be checking right now. So I don't know if it would fix it if I were to simply just, so it's minus to be closer to the camera. So I don't know if I just do like, I don't know, like -1 or something, because this makes it like go above the background map. But yeah, exactly. The thing is, its position is actually changed whenever it's placed on a node, even at the beginning when it's placed on the starting node, right? So the problem here is that in the code itself, I am setting the position of the player when it moves to be the position of the node, right? So this is kind of yeah, that's kind of a problem. So yeah, here, let's just remove those that we don't need. Let's do the same for node here. No, nothing. Okay, good. So here, where exactly was my code that would move the player? Here. This is node get valid get component blah blah blah. So it's in the move player function proper that it actually, yeah, it's right there, that it will change the player position. So here, if it's instant, I just set the position to be next position. But what it should actually be is, so I can set it and then just be like, you know, position dot like z equals -1 or something like that, right? No, you can't. Oh, you have to set the whole position at once. So can I do new vector 3? Yeah, but can I just go position dot like xy? Can I do this and then like -1 for the z or something? No, I can't. So I really have to go like, you know, every component one at a time. Okay, that's better. So here, and then I can have the move player enumerator where I do change the position where I'm trying to go and the position where I'm trying to go. Oh yeah, so I can actually say that I want to go there, right? As well. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. So this way, I am trying to go to something that's above the rest. So it's kind of confusing, but in my axis system, I just like left the camera at the position it was at in the basic scene, and the Z of the camera is a minus. So closer to the camera is when like I go the more minus, right? So the smallest number, I guess, right? Or, you know, the bigger minus number if you want to see it like that. So -1 is actually closer than 0, which is pretty much the rest of the thing, I think. And the map itself, maybe it should be at 1 or something, just to make sure that it's behind the other objects. Okay, so right here, and this is always okay because I start at the position that my, you know, initial player transform. So if I go from a transform that has a -1 as a z to another one that is also going to a -1 on the z axis, it means that, you know, it's just going to stay at -1 the whole time. So if I make sure that it's at -1 when it starts, I'm good. And when I do start, I'm pretty sure that, okay, so this is the thing, check move, blah blah blah. This is the awake here, and then it's in the start, I think, that I do set the position. It's move player instantly to player pose. Player pose being, right, the function does use the position that's being given as like the position in terms of the map, right? Like which node I'm going to, basically. So it is giving -1 because I'm going through this method all the time. Anytime I'm moving the player, even when I set the initial position, always going through here. So if the Z is okay here, it's always going to be okay. So I should be fine now. I do think that now the player is going to be above the rest, which is very nice. Or not, because it's just not. Okay. This is unfortunate. Where are the nodes? Where are they? Those are my nodes. Where do I set them when I give them a position initially? So the position that I'm giving them is Oh, I am putting them at -1. So instead the player should be at -2. Technically, if I really was doing a complete game, you know, trying to make some good code, I would use layers. And I would probably use a real 2D project, but I'm not sure about some part of the gameplay. Maybe I'm going to want to add 3D parts to the project, and if that's the case, I can't do that in a 2D project in Unity. I don't think so. But I can do 2D parts in a 3D project, so this is why I currently am in a 3D project. It might cause me more problems, but you know. So yeah, this is fine now. Okay, good. Okay, we should have started with this, but you know, I didn't handle that last time, so now it's handled. Another big thing is you'll notice that the map class right now, it's pretty much a god class, right? It's like the whole game manager. Everything all in one, almost. You know, you have the node which has, hey, where can it go, and its position, and that's pretty much it. You know, oh, you can click on them to go to them or something, and then they signal the map, hey, you know, player wants to go to me. Can they? Pretty much. I can, you know, yeah, pretty much setters and getters, you know, with extra logic in them. That's pretty good. So the node, the node class currently is okay for what little code and just behavior in general we have in our project. Node class is fine. But the map, it's a god class. You'll notice that everything about the player, in terms of code at least, not like the real game object, but the code for its behavior and everything like that, it's all in here, okay? So, you know, instantiating nodes, making sure that the paths are set correctly, even displaying the paths, it's fine that it happens in the map, you know? Even instantiating the player maybe, or just telling it where to go at the beginning, it's okay if it's in the map, because the map, you know, tells the player where to start, which is not necessarily a bad idea. You know, in a game you might want to have different maps, and the maps themselves with their arguments and, you know, their own logic, they could decide where the player starts. So visually, you could start at different points, and the player doesn't need to know that. It just tells the map, hey, you know, place me wherever you want. I'm ready. So that's a good idea in terms of good separation of logic, essentially. But I do feel like the player should, and anything that has to do with actually like doing the move right, like it should just happen in terms of the player. Okay, so when you click on a node, it should probably tell the map, hey, I've been clicked, and then maybe the map does a check, right? That quick check to see, hey, do I move the player? Is it like, you know, an invalid position, etc. But once that happens, you know, the whole like move player kind of thing, yeah, the move player should really be a player specific thing, as in like a different script, C#, you know, script with a class inside, a player class, should handle that whole method, right? So the whole like calculating things, making sure that the z coordinate is fine, is it instant, is it not, you know, handling that logic, and doing the I enumerator, and probably actually keeping track of the I enumerator, because right now I do think there may be some weird behavior if I just keep clicking on different nodes, because I don't check if I already am doing a movement, basically. Like, I can just stack as many movements as I want if I click fast enough and positions are valid. So if I'm not mistaken, if I click really fast on successive nodes, you know, that are making a valid path together, I should see weird movement from the player. So if I do it, oh, it goes really fast. I'm gonna make the player go much slower. Okay, right now it's 3. I'm gonna go 0.4, perhaps. It's a float. Oh, yes, precise it, because it's a double by default. So here, if I go back in my Unity project and I have a slow moving player, I think I should be able to... Oh no, I didn't. Oh, but see, now it's completely bugged. Oh, that's so weird. So the thing that's probably happening is that because I have the first IEnumerator going, it kind of like overrides any other IEnumerator, but like the function that sets the position in the first place is not stopped. So I'm setting the position, but when it comes to actually doing the movement, there, only one, let's say, method over time happens at once. So it seems like visually only one method can act at a time, but the other ones, because they're only one frame, they can happen. So when I'm clicking, it thinks it's right here. It thinks it's done with the map, so I can't move anymore. But visually it's not. So you can see how there are problems by not making sure that like I can only have one thing running at a time, or maybe even in Move Player, the first thing you do is you check, do I have an IEnumerator going? Yes or no? And then you have this IEnumerator that you keep track of, and then like when you're done with the method, you do like however you call it. So like a ongoing movement, maybe you call it, or something. Ongoing move, and then it's gonna be like null, and then if it's null, in the method here, if it's null, then you start a new one. Maybe something like that. But all of that logic, all of that keeping track of the movement and everything, it really should happen in its own class. It's really weird right now that it's in the map class. Okay, this is not very good programming. So I understand this is just a prototype, but I have a lot of behavior that I want to try out. I'm gonna need to refactor a little bit my code if I wanted to, if I just want to be able to keep track of it. Because no matter the size, you need a minimal amount of decorum in your code, right? If you want to be able to just know where to put the next method, right? Where to write the next line. I'm not going to be able to keep track of that right now. Even the position, it's like not that detailed, but it could almost be its own C# file. Not really script, because I wouldn't inherit from mono behavior. It would just be as it currently is, but it is a couple lines, you know what I mean? It goes from here, line 12, to line 33. So, that's a good 20 lines. I mean, maybe it's not necessary. Yeah, I think I'll keep it here for now, but it is still a non-negligible portion of this whole Shazam, right? Oh, but I did like the fact that it was inside of the map class, even if it's public, because I have to do map.pose when I use it here, like map.pose. So it's pretty obvious that it's a position in the map, and not a like the position in the transform, basically. Oh, has music stopped? Whoops, here. No, okay, it's fine. It did that a lot last stream. Music would just stop, and I would have to just click play for it to keep going. Okay, so yeah, I like the fact that it's very obvious when you just read, this, that is the position, from the perspective of the map. So my own positions, basically, not the Unity like transform positions, right? So I really like that map.pause. So just because of that, I'm pretty sure I'm keeping it in map. It's just much more readable. Here, that's cool. Valid paths, it's fine. No, I was gonna put a comment to say that those valid paths, they're paths in the how do I say this? In the next row, right? Because I have rows, and the only path that I can currently make is where can you go? Like, what is the next node that you can go to? But I don't know how necessary that is. So, yeah. Alright, well, let's start by creating the new script, the new script that we want, which is going to be called player. How difficult is this? Okay, so here I have a player which inherits from mono behavior just as I wanted it. Do I use awake or start? I do use awake, yeah. If I can, I think my rule of thumb, because I had some problems, I think last stream about that. Awake, it happens whenever you instantiate the object or create it, from what I understand. And then start happens later, right? So yeah, if I go, there's a good image that I found at some point online years ago, which is Unity event called stack or something like that, which is just the order in which every event is called in Unity, right? So is it event functions? No, it's not in that page. There was a page, order of execution in the Unity manual. Yeah, it's that one. It's that one. Oh boy, it's a huge one. It's bigger than I thought. Wow. I think it was the same page, but like years ago, and now it's been made like much more complex. Oh my god. But I'm gonna save it. I think it's a good resource. So on the desktop, which is gonna be mono behavior flowchart, it's an SVG, really? Yeah, just save it. Who cares? So if I look here, oh, what have I done? Quick, 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 Godo, come on. Okay, nice. Whew. Sorry. Come on. That wallpaper, it moves. Come on. Let's be real here. I despise Microsoft Edge so much, so I'm gonna be using, change please, Firefox, if at all possible. Apply, thank you so much. Open it, good. Okay, so that's cool. Nice. So awake is the very first thing. Again, initialization. And then unenable. Oh, unenable. I see. So awake is really when you just create / instantiate your object. Or, well, your script, in this case. Like you need, the script does that, right? The mono behavior script. Editor, reset. Reset is called when the script is attached and not in play mode. What? Okay, the editor stuff is just, it's new to me. It's not the first time during a stream that I'm seeing like editor customization, and I'm just, you know, I'm way over my head. This is not for me. Initialization, start. Okay, so yeah, so the second type of initialization, I guess. So start, yeah, only called once for a given script. Sure, and isn't awake? Yeah, so basically it happens before, right? So awake is important. Start, it's later. Start is kind of like your default initialization thing, but I do feel like awake should be used more often. Like my read on it is awake, you use it whenever you can and whenever you're not interacting with other scripts, right? Because during the awake, you're not guaranteed that other scripts have been instantiated, because it happens, you know, in order, basically. But in the start, because all of the scripts have had their awake happen, they exist, right? And they are somewhat initialized depending on how much you put in their awake thing. So awake, any initialization that you do not need other scripts, right? So for example, if I'm just using some variables here, use them in the, like, instantiate them in the awake, set their initial value, etc., etc. Maybe get things that are on yourself, right? So something like you know, the get component thing. So yeah, you just get the component, sprite, who cares, do the thing, blah blah blah. Just get your things that are about yourself. Now in the start, it's more like, oh, I want to, you know, have a start position which is like the same as the node or the blah blah blah. This is all in the start. When you start interacting with the rest, start. You know, the actual game logic is happening. You're not just initializing your own object, right? Even if it's just the default behavior, if it's like, yeah, if it's like game behavior, even if it's the default behavior, it's in the start. Or, in other words, which is much more simple, I think, if it doesn't go in the awake, or if it causes an error if it's in the awake, put it in the start, and it should work. Basically, that's the rule of thumb that I'm going to be using going forward. Fixed update, pretty good. So yeah, here you're in the physics, and you can see that it's pretty much looping. How do you get that loop though? That undestroy. So you destroy it, and then you awake again. Okay. But how do you get the arrow here? State machine update, yeah, that's an internal, and that's internal multi-threaded function. Whoa, no kidding. And then they have internal non-multi-threaded functions. So yeah, internal physics update, write properties, a bunch of stuff like that. So yeah, we do have a lot of things, which is like scene rendering. I'm not really used to using that, but one thing that I really want to learn to be better at soon, I don't know when exactly, I'm almost surely going to show that progress, that learning process I should say, on stream, but it's going to be learning about the, how do you call it, shaders, and integrating them in Unity, because I have coded a little bit of shaders, just a couple of them, simple shaders I would say, like, you know, simple lighting, no shadows, nothing like that, integrating like textures and stuff like that, but it was in the context of making my own, essentially my own engine, right? So it's very low level, interesting for sure. Maybe a couple of things I won't have to do in Unity that I did in those shaders, but like complex stuff, that's like complex rendering and optimization, yeah, I don't really know about that. So I would like to learn about that eventually, sooner rather than later, but this is not in the scope of the current project. So yeah, let's get to it. I've been wasting enough time like this. So I'm just gonna go with a awake first. I very much dislike that they don't say if it's private or public. Is this public by default? It's a good question. So, public class pose. If I remove public here, and I just say class pose, if I go in node, there's an error. So by default, things are private, as I think they should be. I do think they should be like that. So maybe, you know what, maybe I just precise when it's public. Maybe I try to keep it, you know, because not gonna lie, it's kind of annoying having to add private to everything. And since things are private by default, like, it's technically just less code for the same behavior to just precise when something is public. So unless it's explicitly stated, it's not public, is the way I should be doing stuff, I think. I don't know what the conventions are in C#, if I'm completely honest with you. Oh yeah, it's true, it looks like 2 lines, but it's just because of this. Okay, yeah, that's good. You know, I think that's good. So Control F, if I go private, yeah, nothing's private anymore. And here, Control F, private. Yeah, well, okay, it's the new thing. And here, do I have a couple of things that are private? Oh no, see, I just wrote stuff. So awake is not public, it's actually private by default. Just like most of the things. Those are public for sure, yeah. Also, I feel like the orders in which I put things here, like public versus private and everything, it's kind of ridiculous, in my opinion. I don't know, I don't really have like a very set ways in how to do things in Unity, but you know. Okay, player, what do you have? Well, that's a good question. What does the player have here? So instance, that's not it. Rows and max columns, who cares about that? So what do I have? Here I have the game object, which is a player. In this case, it should probably be a player script instead. And here I have a pose, which is a player pose. So I'm going to remove the player pose here. And, okay. Yeah, well, you know, I'm moving this. So here, pose, which is a player pose. And by pose, oh, you don't have to write map.pose. Ah, this is kind of annoying. Well, I'd rather just precise it. Oh yeah, but you do have to be using map to do that. So, okay, so it's fine, You're better off just saying where it comes from. So instead of player pose, I'm just gonna go pose. You know, it's the position, and it's in the player script, so the player's position. It makes sense. If I go here, oh, I'm checking if it can move using the current player position. I see. Well, you know what? I'm gonna make it simple. For now, it's public, alright? So it's gonna be instance.player.pose. Oh, sorry, yeah, .player.pose. .row. Player.pose.row. Well, that's kind of weird. I'm going deep inside of the player. But I'm okay if the player is just a glorified struct, quite frankly. I'm pretty fine with this. So yeah, this, oh yeah, exactly, like that and like that. Okay, this is fine. Yeah, no, you go back. We have to go back, Marty. We have to go back. Okay, check move player is great. It's amazing. Amaze balls. But instead of instance.move player, you could have player.move. So move, and then player. So, hey, why don't I have the thing blah blah blah? So here, in move player, you just change it to call it move, and then you take you put public back on, because you do want to be able to call it from somewhere else. And you just take all of that, bye bye. It just goes bye bye. You save this here, and you go in player, and you're like, I don't need anything here. Bye bye update. Boom. That's awesome. Awake is great, but who cares? No, I'm just gonna keep it, because I do think that I need the pose to be equal to something. Maybe? Or maybe I don't. Okay, for now I don't need it. I just use two methods. And I'm gonna be keeping track of it, by the way. So it's a private enumerator. I did say that I wanted to keep track of the enumerator, and it's gonna be current move, or something along those lines. Yeah, I guess I can have an awake. Yeah, so they put it back by default. But here it's gonna be current move will be equal to null, alright? And in here, when I'm done, because after all of the yields going out of the while just before exiting the method, I'm just gonna go current move equals null, and I'm gonna add a null check here. So here it's gonna be if current move does not equal null, then I'm just gonna quick return. So I'm just gonna avoid the rest of the method. Here player pose equals pose. Okay. This dot pose, I guess, equals pose. Vector 3 position equals, yeah, I can't access nodes directly here. Right, so I do want the position of the node that was here. Right. Okay. I think this one's a new song. Yeah, maybe. So the thing is, I found that my playlist was too short for the length of my streams of the week. So I added about 10 songs to the playlist. So I think I went from 49 to 59, something like that. So now it should pretty much last for the full 3 hour duration of the usual stream of the week. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. I didn't check exactly. I'm thinking that I will keep adding songs to the playlist. If you want to check it out, it's in the description, the link for the playlist. So don't hesitate. Oh, because it is static, huh? Is it? It shouldn't be. Player. Oh, sorry, yeah. You're static, so instance dot player move. Right. Check move player, huh? Oh yeah, another thing that's really annoying is how the nodes are. You see the player, I made it a script right off the bat. Yeah, well, so as you can see here, the node prefab is a game object, which is absolutely fine because I want to instantiate it. Sorry. The thing is, the actual nodes that I'm saving, when they're game objects, I have to access using get component node dot, parentheses dot, and the method, which is an absolute hell. I do not want that to happen. So you're actually a list of actual node, and you can just call the method, just straight up. Now I'm gonna have to change a thing or two so that it works like that, right? So a new list of node, thank you so much, and here your list of node, thank you so much. And here, when I add the thing, it's that node. No, that get component node. Yeah. So no. What I do want, node equal dot instantiate, and in instantiate, can I do dot get component? Oh my god, I can I can just chain that. That's great. I just want to get the node. Yo, that's cool. So basically, I am instantiating something for real, and then right off the bat, getting its component and setting it as a node, as the node here. And then instead of doing get component blah blah blah, I can just do node.pause.set, which is amazing. The position, and then nodes at that position dot add node here, which is really cool. Okay, hey, let me just check something for a second. I'll be right back. Okay, so as I was saying, it's gonna be much more practical to do this, because the get component, if I remember correctly, it iterates through all the component in the current object, right? Well, the game object that's being checked. And yeah, so it basically goes through a full list. Of course, most of my objects, at least currently, have only what? 3-4 components maybe? So it's a small list to check. But if you have like 12 components, checking every time you want to use a method, it's kind of annoying. Plus the code is much longer. So I'm not gonna do that. Move player. Okay, yeah, well, it doesn't work because the method doesn't work. Okay, So here, I'm just gonna set that in the constructor here. So here, I can just do pose equal to new, exactly, new map.pause. That's great. Map.pose, not pause. Pause is like pause. Pose. Yep, practicing my pronunciation, trying to get words right. Okay, so move player. Yeah, what's up with that? Don't you mean like just move? Oh, right. Don't you mean like, you know, like I have to do this in here? Probably in a start method. So void, whoops, start, and then you do write private. This is really annoying. I just you know, give correct behavior, please. Player pose is just gonna be pose. So this is cool, right? Everything here is cool. The check, null check, amazing. You know, this, great. Player to transform, more like transform, much simpler. That's great, that's great. This works as intended, didn't have to change much. All of the rest, very fine. Now the problem is really just here, because I'm trying to access the nodes. Is there a way that I could call the move method in a more efficient manner? The thing is, I used to, you know, give it the pose because it was in the map, and I could easily access this transform position, but now, not so much. So maybe I can just give the pose, then the, you know, position, and then the, you know what I mean? And then is it instant and everything. So I can just give like a real like vector 3 like position, right? So this is position, and this is, I can even write like map pose if I want to be clear about it, but no, I'll just say pose, position, and it is kind of annoying because there is, you know, some amount of relationship between those two, but like I don't really care, honestly. Like I'm just gonna, to me it works, right? Oh, but like you don't know, right? You don't know, you just don't know. You need to know, right? You need to be able to know. So I should have a method here. Because nodes, I think it's private, right? Yeah, it is private. So either I make the nodes public and everybody can access them, which is not a great idea, or I say, like I just make a getter, basically, like a method where if you just know it, you can access the thing. So something like a public, like get node, oh, so it, yeah, get node position from map, no, just get node position, or just get, yeah, just get position, or like or position from map pose, okay, something like that. And here you take a pose, and you, oh yeah, you do return a vector 3, that is. That's a good song. Okay. Yeah, post.row, post.call, .trans. Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, yeah, I want to return. Good. So it's a simple line, is just I can't access that from outside the class currently. So here I'm just gonna do, oh, it should be static, by the way. Yeah, so it should be static, which means that here is gonna be instance dot. Good. So now I can just go here and go map dot position from map pose using the pose. That's great. And then that's the vector position, and then here transform dot position. So it should work. Or does it? When you do thing and then the map, you click, you check if the player can move, if it can. I do feel like the player I don't know. The map checks if the player can move, and then the player like moves there, right? No, I don't want to use static map, please. Oh, see? You just had to tell me that I lacked stuff. Oh, no, it's fine, it's fine. Okay, so here, the map class is now 150 lines, you know, which is much more reasonable. Player, about 60, and node, about 30. Yeah, that's much better. And it also contains, you know, the pose thing, which is like 20 lines, so it's more like 130 lines of effective like code for like behavior and stuff like that. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, now I just want to try it out and see if I broke anything. I hope I didn't. Maybe I did. Okay, seems like I did. Oh, because I didn't set a reference. So map, line 47. Player.pose. Oh, because I never give it the player. Yeah, that's not a great idea, huh? The player is actually an object in the scene currently. So it is a serialized field too. That's great. Oh, so I actually did give it to it before. It's just that I did not give it a script. I see. This is gonna be a player, just straight up player. And if I go in map, type mismatch. Come on. Good. Now, if I do start, does it work? Huh? No, it doesn't. Not at all. So now it's map line 62. What is not? Wait. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Map.position for map. Map plus pose. Okay. So now the question becomes, where do I call it in the player? Is it in the awake? If so, I can understand why it doesn't work. Well, so no, but yes, like this maybe? Maybe that's better? And then I can move to the instance. And in the awake, I do the thing where I set the instance. Oh, but I do set all of these in the start. Aha. So maybe the player's start method is called before, so when I try to move, like the node just doesn't exist. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay. Yeah, it is unfortunate. I'm gonna need to do something else. Right. So it couldn't set the correct position at first because the node didn't exist yet, but it still thought it was here, right? Like internally. So now I can move it to places, which is very strange. Okay, well, that's cool. Okay, that's weird. Yeah, so it's kind of difficult to make sure that it's coordinated correctly here. How do I do this? Well, first reflex is to check the events. I don't want to like fixed update it or anything like that. So I can do something with like an something that puts order to stuff, right? So instead of having a start function here, I could have like a public, not a start, but a public like init, right? And maybe I do set that equals null or something. So here, I just initialize everything in the init. And then maybe the map just has to tell me when it's done initializing stuff. So maybe here I just go player, sorry. Oh no, it's okay. Player.init, right? Maybe that's what I do. That's quite simple. And if I need to, I might do the same for the nodes or for whatever else. And eventually I might have like a real game controller, and this one could be keeping track of which init method is called first or something. Okay, that's cool. Okay, it's really slow. The player speed I can add probably as an attribute, which I think might be able to be like how do you call that? Like yeah. So basically, public float speed, but it's not gonna be public. It's actually gonna be private, but I do want it to be a serialized field. Yeah, so I can change it in the editor, but I don't want like the map to have access to it or anything like that. So here, and here I can just set the speed equal to something, right? Or I can just give it a default value of like, I think 3 was pretty good last time. So here, and then when I go here, you did have a player speed. I do not care about this here. So here is just gonna be speed, because the player speed inside of the player class is just the speed. Oh, and here, yeah, the z coordinate. This one, I think it could be public because I might want to use it from something else. So I can just go public, something like, like, can I have like z order written like that? No, I can't. Oh, I really need to go to the bathroom, so I'm just gonna take a quick little break, transition, and I'll be right back. See you in like 3 minutes. I'm back. Okay, so streaming transition. Okay, cool. What was I writing? It was a Z order kind of thing. Z order. Wait, there's no music anymore? Why'd you stop? Come on. Oh yeah, that one's good, I think. I mean, I think they're all good, but you know what I mean, right? Okay. So, I'm gonna try to wrap things up here for tonight pretty soon. So, the Z order, by the way, is just an, not an int, it's a, is it a float or a double? I think it's a float. Okay, so here I have Z order. Yeah, it's actually going to be a const or a read only. Go to -3. Just like this is actually a read only as well. But if I do say read only, I do hope that you can modify it in the editor still though. It's just at runtime it can't be modified. Right? I do think so, I hope so. Yeah, that's good. The script. Yeah, why can't I? Wait, so is it serialized field? It's a read only, is that why? It might be why. Oh, that's annoying. If I do this then. Yeah, it seems like it cannot just take a read only and serialize it. Okay. And const, can I? Oh, okay, now it's const. Okay, cool. I thought it didn't work. And if it's const, can I go here and modify it? No, I can't. Huh, that's crazy. Okay, well, I guess read only and const is pretty much the same thing. Can I? What if it's static? Can it be and it's private too, yeah, okay. No, it can't. So it's really just, you know, your normal private float. Well, you know, I'm just not gonna change it, so it's fine. Because I do want to serialize that field as well. I do want that. Okay, so the order is -3, speed 3, that's great. Yeah, those are my defaults. So when I go here, oh, I said -3, I wanted -2 actually. Here, and I'm gonna go -2 as well. So, that's right. Okay, so here is the Z order that I called it. Z order. That's great. That's great. You gotta love using constants. Gotta love it. Just feels good, you know? Just like the, you know, like the meme, like the, oh my god, how does it, like refreshed meme? Or something like that? Yeah, that guy? Yeah. You know, when you're using actual constants instead of magic numbers? You know, feels good. Okay. So, now... Yeah, that's cool. Am I using constants here? Nah, it seems pretty good. Yeah, well, so like ×2 and blah blah blah, but that's cool. Like, that's a mathematical formula, so... No, it seems pretty cool. Okay, so now, for the player... Serializing this and everything. enumerator. I do have a check for that. Right, so I'm gonna go into player here, and the speed I'm gonna set very low, and I'm gonna try again to see if now it is less broken or if it's still as broken as it used to be. Seems like it worked. Let's try to do a full path like I did last time, like click, 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 click. Oh wait, click, 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 click. Oh, that's weird. Why did it do that? Wait, why? Oh, I'm ridiculous. I forgot. When I start the coroutine here. Oh, come on. Why didn't I do that? The enumerator starts existing, you know? So here the current move that I'm calling it. So I should just say current move equals, and then I just call the whole thing here. So like this, clock and clock, right? Right here, okay? So yeah, I create an enumerator, and then I call it, right? I start it. But current move, and you know, I have my null check right here, but it was never used, right? I mean, it would always pass because I never would set it to a different value. And now only when it's finished do I set it to null. Okay, yeah, so that's the thing I had forgotten to do. I thought there was something. So now if I go and I try to click a full path, like click, 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 and click, it shouldn't work. So yeah, only when it's done can I queue up a new one. So that's good. That's perfect, in fact. That's what I wanted. Okay. So yeah. It seems pretty good right here. And it kind of looks like I'm ready for the next part, which is going to be tomorrow, because it's going to be, you know, me starting a new thing. So for those who might watch this stream replay or something before tomorrow's stream, well, you know, Friday the 30th September 2022. For those who wonder what the stream will be about, I'm going to be starting something almost completely new in this project, that is, where I'm going to go away from the current scene, which I'm going to rename, by the way. No, not remove. Select scene asset. No, not. Okay, first off, sample scene. I'm going to delete you. Like, very much. And main scene, can I, like, rename you? Yes, I'm gonna rename you. You're gonna be the, mission map. I am going to reload it, yeah, for sure. Okay, so this is the mission map. And next time we're going to be, I'm not going to create it right now, but next time we're going to be creating a new scene, which is going to be basically what a node represents, right? Which is like you're going to go to a campfire and then, you know, prepare your food, try to do things to see which fruit is, you know, okay to eat, what properties it has and everything. So the main crux of the gameplay, you know, the main gameplay loop is going to happen at a campfire. So we're going to be doing the campfire scene next time. Of course, not everything in it at all. We're just going to be creating the scene, trying to get in and out of it while saving data. Probably just some random data, like probably a struct or a class that I'm just going to create on the spot, trying to transfer information. I'm going to try to make it so that when I go into the next scene, there's like a button that's like go back to the map. And when I go back to the map, I would be back on the node where I'm at. Yeah, so back on the node where I was at, right? The correct position. So I'm going to try to make it so. I think that's at least what I'm going to try to do in 3 hours of time. I think we're going to be able to do a little more. So we're going to start maybe sketching out some stuff, maybe in paint.net, trying to figure out what kind of interface we want to try at first. I'm not quite sure what the main gameplay loop is going to really look like, so there's going to be a bunch of stuff to try. It might even be like a 3D environment, who knows. We'll see tomorrow, or, starting tomorrow. See ya! Thanks for watching this stream.